Richardson Theater Center proudly presents Theater of the Imagination, a series of songs and short audio vignettes presented in old-time radio style. Brought to you by Laura Dale, Lula Rowe, and featuring the finest of our North Texas community talent. As always, we're starting off with a song, and who better to croon you a tune than the incomparable Nelson Wilson with his rendition of that old Blue Eyes standard, I've Got You Under My Skin.
I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I've tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair never will go so well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know so well I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that comes in the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. But each time that I do, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin. 'Cause I've got you under my skin. I would sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of the warning voice that comes in the night and repeats how it yells in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, step up, wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin. 'Cause I've got you under my skin. And I love you under my skin.
Thank you, Nelson. Eat your heart out, Frankie. There's a new kid in town, and I don't think he needs competition. And now it's time for this week's vignette, featuring that two-fisted, hard-boiled San Francisco gumshoe, Sam Spade. Yes, it's the adventures of Sam Spade, a private detective, brought to you by Laura Dale, Lula Rowe. Lula Rowe is a high-fashion, on-trend ladies' clothing company with more than 25,000 independent retailers nationwide. If you're looking for comfortable, fashionable, and affordable clothing, then shop Laura Dale Lula Rowe. While they're famous for their buttery soft leggings, LuLaRoe also offers a wide variety of denims, dresses, skirts, wraps, rompers, kimonos, vests, tops, tees, joggers, blouses, jackets, and even an entire elegant line. There is literally fashion for every body and in every size, from XXS to 3XL, and all in unique prints sold only by LuLaRoe. For more information, contact local sales entrepreneur Laura Dale at 972-571-3018 or by email at lololularroe@gmail.com. Or you can shop online at shop.lularoebless.com/Laura Dale. That's 972-571-3018 or shop.LULAROEBLESS.com/LAURADAIL. And now, Sam Spade.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
It's me, sweetheart.
Oh, hi, Sam. Was it an interesting case?
Fascinating, but in a depressing sort of way.
Well, that's good.
Good.
Sure. The ones that depress you usually pay the most money.
Well, don't send out for champagne just yet. My client is dead.
Ugh. I hope you collected in advance, Sam.
Geez, you're all heart, Effie. Anyway, it wouldn't have mattered since she was dead when I met her. Stay where you are, sweetie. I'll be right down to dictate my report on the lipstick lover case.
Being a private eye in San Francisco has its ups and downs, and I'm not just talking about the streetcars on the hills. My cases range from the routine to the ridiculous, and I never know which will be which. You take this most recent caper. I got a call from a woman who lived on Stockton Street, not far from Fisherman's Wharf, who said she thought she was being stalked. Plausible enough. There's a lot of creeps out there. So I took the Powell Street trolley down to the wharf. You always know when you're getting close by the smell, and I'm not talking about roses. Let's just say rotting fish is not one of my favorite fragrances. I found the address on Stockton, but imagine my surprise when I saw 2 police cars and an ambulance sitting outside. Something told me right away this wasn't going to turn out so well. The door was open as I walked up the steps, and the first thing I saw was my old pal, Lieutenant Warren of the San Francisco PD. He was talking to a uniform cop, and he sort of rolled his eyes when he saw me.
Sam, why am I not surprised to see you here?
I can't say the same, Phil. You usually don't show up unless somebody's dead.
This time I got the jump on you. And yeah, somebody's dead.
I pulled a piece of paper out of my pocket. Don't tell me. Mrs. Eloise Spencer?
How did you know?
She called me earlier today, said she thought she was being stalked.
Looks like she may have been right. Come on in. I could use your help on this one.
The apartment Phil led me into was fairly nice. Looked like whoever lived there was affluent enough. There was a man and a woman sitting on the couch in the living room. The guy looked pretty broken up. The woman, not so much. But she did look concerned. She seemed like she was trying to comfort the guy. I looked at Phil. Husband and wife?
Not exactly. I'll introduce you later. Right now, I want you to see the body.
Phil and I walked into the master bedroom, and then into a small dressing room. Eloise Spencer was lying on the tile floor, stone dead. It was obvious she'd been quite the looker, and, if it hadn't been for the nasty bruise of a ligature around her neck, you'd have sworn she'd just decided to take an impromptu nap on the floor. There was a streak of lipstick across her chin, the only flaw on an otherwise beautiful face.
We think she was putting on her makeup when someone came up behind her.
What'd they use?
A cord of some sort, maybe? Hard to tell. Have to wait for the coroner. But it's not the weapon that has me stumped. It's that.
Phil pointed to Eloise's right hand, which was partially closed around a tube of bright red lipstick. On the floor below her hand, scrawled on the turquoise-colored tile, was a red-smeared word. Jigs?
Yeah, that's what's got me puzzled. What the heck does that mean?
I don't know. The jig's up?
Why would she write that?
You got me. Have you asked those two out there?
I'm going to. Like I said, I wanted you to see this first.
Phil and I went back into the living room. The guy on the couch seemed to have calmed a little, and he looked up at the two of us.
Do you know who killed my wife?
We're working on it, Mr. Spencer, believe me. This is Sam Spade. He's a private investigator.
Spade? My wife mentioned you.
She called me this morning, Mr. Spencer. She said she thought someone was stalking her, and asked me to look into it. Sorry I couldn't have gotten here sooner.
Well, she told me the same thing, but I didn't believe her. It didn't make any sense. Eloise didn't have any enemies. Everyone loved her.
It'll be all right, Mark. It'll be all right.
Who are you, Miss...
Donaldson. Madelyn Donaldson. I'm an old friend of Mark's, Mr. Spencer's, from college.
Madelyn just came into town for a visit. In fact, I went to the train station to pick her up just a short while ago. Whoever killed Eloise must have waited until I left.
You just arrived today, Miss Donaldson?
On the 2 o'clock train. I had written Mr. Spencer a few weeks ago that I was interested in coming to San Francisco to look for a job. He and his wife were gracious enough to let me stay with them. I never thought I'd arrive to this.
So Mr. Spencer picked you up at 2?
Actually, no. I missed the connecting train in Bakersfield and had to take the next one. I called to tell Mark, Mr. Spencer, but Eloise said he had already left for the station. Fortunately, he was kind enough to wait.
You spoke to Mrs. Spencer? What time was that?
I think it was about 1:45, give or take a few minutes.
I left for the train station at 1:30, so that makes sense.
The trains run every 30 minutes, so that means you arrived at 2:30?
Yes, 2:30.
And when did you get back here to the apartment?
It was a few minutes after 3.
That puts the time of the murder between 1:45 and 3. The killer was cutting it close.
Mr. Spencer, it looks like your wife tried to tell us something before she died. She wrote a word on the floor with her lipstick. Jigs.
Jigs?
Yes, sir. Does it mean anything to you?
I mean, that doesn't make sense.
Mark, wasn't that...
Wasn't that what, Miss Donaldson?
Nothing, really. It's just that when Mr. Spencer and I were in college, that was his nickname.
Nickname?
It was nothing, really. I was a bit of a dancer back then.
A bit? He's just being humble. Mark and I won 3 separate jitterbug contests. He rivaled Fred Astaire.
That was a long time ago, Maddie. I had forgotten all about it.
Well, I haven't.
Why would your wife write your college nickname on the floor, Mr. Spencer?
I don't know. I'm not even sure she knew about it. I didn't meet her until after I had graduated. I don't remember telling her.
Maybe it means something entirely different. We'll have to check into it further.
Right about then, something started to smell fishy, and it wasn't just the breeze blowing in from the bay. Miss Donaldson, you said you and Mr. Spencer won 3 dance competitions in college. Can I take it you two were an item?
That's ancient history, Mr. Spade. Mark and I both went our separate ways with no regrets. I was very happy to hear that he and Eloise got married. Like I said, they were gracious enough to invite me to stay with them while I looked for a job.
And you came in on the 2:30 train this afternoon.
I've already told you as much.
What are you getting at, Sam?
Maybe nothing. Miss Donaldson, would you mind if I took a look at your train ticket? From the look on her face, you'd have thought I'd just asked her to do a striptease. I'd seen killers facing the gallows look less nervous. But maybe that was the point.
My train ticket? Why would you want to see that?
Just routine. I'm sure Lieutenant Warren here will eventually ask to see it anyway, as part of his investigation. Might as well get it out of the way.
Well, I don't have it. I threw it away after I got off the train. I didn't need it anymore. Why does it matter anyway?
No reason, really, except for the fact that it would prove you didn't arrive on the 2:30 train. At least not today. You've actually been in town for a few days now, haven't you, Miss Donaldson?
What are you saying, Mr. Spade?
Only that I think the person who was stalking your wife was Miss Donaldson here. trying to figure out the best time to kill her. I think she's been watching your house ever since she got here, and your wife saw her. That's why she called me. She was waiting outside this afternoon, watching until you left. Then she came inside, killed your wife, and took a cab to the train station. It's only 15 minutes from here, which gave her plenty of time to make it look like she was on a later train.
That's insane. Why would Maddie want to kill Eloise?
Because she never got over her breakup with you. Something tells me your parting in college wasn't all that amiable, was it?
Maddie was upset, yes, but we both knew that it was for the best. We really had nothing in common. Aside from the dancing, of course.
And is that how you felt, Miss Donaldson?
No, that's not how I felt, Mark. You were everything to me. Everything. Did you have any idea how I felt when you just broke it off the way you did? I was devastated. And then to hear you married someone else, I just couldn't take it.
So you decided to come to San Francisco, kill your rival, and frame your ex-boyfriend for her murder. Might have worked, too, except for the fact that Eloise didn't know about Spencer's nickname. That's the problem with the green-eyed monster, Miss Donaldson. It gets too savage to think straight. Phil, she's all yours.
Madelyn Donaldson, I'm arresting you for the murder of Eloise Spencer.
So Madelyn had actually been in town for a while.
3 days, according to the train records. I really wish Mrs. Spencer had called me sooner.
Aw, you couldn't have known, Sam. At least you caught her.
I'll tell you the truth, Effie. It's cases like this that make me glad I'm not married. You know what they say about a woman scorned.
Yeah, and if anybody could make them scorned, it's you.
Very funny.
Anyway, don't write yourself off just yet, Sam. You'll get married someday. You just have to find a girl who loves you as much as you do.
Join us again next time for another original vignette on RTC's Theater of the Imagination.